Friday, October 30th at 8 p.m. It's the WSSU Homecoming Concert in the Lawrence Joe Veterans Memorial Coliseum. It's Charlie Wilson with special guest Raheem Devon, plus Leela James. Get tickets now at Ticketmaster. Sponsored by the WSSU Foundation and the Dome Group.
I feel we're a hungry team. We did take a loss the first week, but we're going to put that behind us, bounce back, and just get ready for Valdosta. I feel we have a young team, and we're still working. We're taking everything we did wrong in the first game and just throughout practice this week, working on that to get better. It's not really tough with great coaches, great players. I feel we're going to come together and make everything work. Some good cornerbacks. I've been watching the safeties, but I feel with our coaching, the receivers, the running backs, and our offensive line, I feel we can push through and win this game. I don't feel so much we stalled. I just think some things didn't work, and I mean, that was the first game. New quarterback, new team, and we still have a long season. I feel we're going to wrinkle out everything. Really, with time and play clock, I feel we've been hurrying up our offense and the speed of getting our plays in, getting lined up, and those little adjustments.
Well, I haven't focused on what went right part. The what went wrong part is more of what our focus was this week. We ended up with, a large number of penalties that were drive killers, and mistakes. I say every day, the team that makes the fewest mistakes is going to win. So looking back at the assessment of the penalties and the things that went wrong for us, we ended up with 8 straight penalties at one point in time during the course of the game, and over 100 yards in penalties, which is equivalent to a touchdown. But with those drive killers, those are the things we're focusing on more. The things that are in our control, we focus mainly on our quarterback position, which has been an issue here for the last couple of years. So we focus so much on, getting the quarterback in a position to succeed for us that, some of the things that got neglected, we're going back now to the basics as far as, tackling, getting the ball off in time, getting our plays in a little bit faster. So those are the things that have been our focus point for this week. Well, those were, it goes hand in hand. The chemistry has been the word that I've been using from day one this preseason and throughout our off-season and in our recruiting efforts. We brought in basically a whole new team. We lost 11 starters on defense last year. I'm not going to keep harping on that as much. It's about time for these other guys to take over. We lost 11 starters, but you had to fill those positions. And we filled those positions with people that we thought were just as good, if not better, than some of the talent we've lost. But chemistry trumps talent any day of the week. Offensively, we lost 2 good quarterbacks. We replaced them with a quarterback that's up and coming. And we do have a couple more quarterbacks to choose from right now. We've chosen our guy, and we're going to ride out with that guy. Well, that one game that we've had, win or lose, was a tune-up game for, our down-to-earth goals. Ultimately, you'd like to get back into the national championship picture, get into the playoffs. But a realistic goal for us this year would be to target the CIAA championship. And if we got to use these first 3 games as a tune-up game for our CIAA season, we're doing, as such. Winning the conference championship still gives you an opportunity to at least make postseason play. So, instead of looking at the big picture, talking about, down the road, our focus right now is on the next football game. So our next football game is our biggest football game. And, for all it's worth, the national championship game last year, Ohio State, they lost their first game of the season. It doesn't excuse our loss, but it does give you some hope. And, we have a short memory, and we'll focus on Valdosta State for this week. You don't think about that during the course of the game. You hope you have more drives like that. It's pretty difficult just to line up and nickel dime all the way down the field. We've gotten accustomed to a lot of home run balls, but with a young quarterback, it's not a good idea to try to throw so much down the field. You do it to keep the opposing team's defense honest, but at the same time to give him, that high percentage route to throw the football to. That was more of our focal point for him to get him comfortable somewhat. And even focusing on trying to keep him comfortable, he still managed to get sacked, you know, too many times, you know, for us to count. You know, we're back to the drawing board, back to the basics. Well, it doesn't get any easier. You know, their defense, I think they're probably going to be a step faster than UNC Pembroke. Looking at the film, I thought they played pretty good this past week. They also, you know, first game jitters. You know, they got some new parts, you know, particularly new quarterback. The running back situation is still the same, you know, going on, you know, 4 years in a row, you know, as far as the starter and the backup. And it's a coin toss away from who's going to go out there as a starter. Offensive line-wise, you know, I think they're just as good as they have been. A couple of years ago when we played with National Championship, they had some guys go to the NFL. So they got some guys that are, you know, they're on pace to do some of the same things they did for them before. Their scheme, you know, it will pose some problems for you if you're not disciplined on defense. So, you know, that's our focus right now, is to come up with something to stop the run. You know, they do run the ball pretty well. You know, I guess it's not a problem. You know, we still got our fan base. You know, we still got to play the game. You know, it's not their home stadium. You know, it's in their home state, but at the same time, you know, we got to play that game either way you look at it. As a program, you know, it's a tune-up. You know, to see where you stand on a national scale. You know, they're going to be ranked every year. You know, regardless of whether they got a new team, old team, they're going to be ranked nationally. And you know, if you want to be recognized on that national stage, to help you down the road, because games like this do help you out a lot. You know, you get a chance to see where you stand. Well, if you're going to have any success, you got to be able to establish the run. Play action doesn't work very well if the run game is not there. So we'll continue to do some things like run the football to try to set up the passing game. You know, that's about the only way you can keep the team honest, because if they knew we were just going to run the football, they're going to stack the box. If they know we're going to be one-dimensional and pass the football, then they won't worry so much about the run, they'll defend the pass. So we'll try to keep them off balance. You would like to think, you know, mentally you want every advantage you can get versus a Valdosta State team. You know, they'll regroup, they'll recover. You know, if you got the athletes and if you got the coaches to get it done, you know, you can turn around in a shorter amount of time and still be successful. So, you know, we had a couple more days of rest. But at the same time, you know, we've been practicing and, you know, we're just trying to work on our corrections.